All right, so we're back for another episode of the House Podcast. This one kind of is a little different than the usual. Everything else been kind of different realtors or different people that we met. This is more a collaboration style, I would say, where a lot of people I see nowadays is really, compared to what it used to be, a lot of brokers never really got together with other brokers to collaborate on everything, and it was more like, not like a competition, but everybody was kind of against themselves. And I feel like now more I see people willing to do podcasts and do different style events together. So that kind of led me to wanting to bring you on here and hear what you guys do compared to another broker and really what developed, yourself. So I've seen you on multiple different podcasts, and I was like, I got to bring you on. So Peter Grosso from ReMax Integrity Leaders. Thank you for coming aboard.
Hello, how are you? So excited to be here, and collaboration is the most important thing. And there's no, you can be in competition and still collaborate and still help. We both can get better,
right,
by sitting here doing this, and I'm going to learn something, you're going to learn something, and we're going to tweak what we do, and we're both going to get better. We're both going to grow. Where if we weren't doing this,
right,
we would probably stagnate. So.
Exactly. There's so much real estate out there. I was like, there's no competition. There's so much real estate out there where you're not going against each other. There's like, I'm going to steal your business.
Yeah.
There's so much business out there. Like, let's work together.
Yeah. And as a broker, I feel like, a lot of times I feel like a dad. Like, I feel like my role is to help nudge people into a better, life, to create a career. And maybe I'm not the dad for them, So sometimes, like, we could sit here and we'll find out, like, maybe, maybe someone watches and go, you should be their dad.
Right. Yeah, you never know.
Or vice versa. So,
right.
Like, my style and how I do things might not fit every seat.
Right.
And my goal is to just add as much value to people's lives and, making sure I find those people. So this helps me find those people, but also, when we talk and we're open and we're expressing our views, it helps us attract those that fit our perspective and we can help grow.
100%. I mean, one of my good friends, Sandy, she works for you,
yeah.
Godfrey. And, she, back in the day, I used to be like, because we kind of both started doing real estate, 2.5 years ago, whatever it may be, something around there, around the same time. So we would always talk, what do you like about your broker? What about yours? I'm like, I would always say, come work with me. Let's come do our thing. And she goes, I love my broker. I love my broker. I was like, yeah, that's great. I was like, I'm glad that you're doing well. And then I saw her, she was like, he really helps me because she was brand new. And, she was like, he helps me with leads. He helps me just understand the business. I was like, then that's where you should stay. Right. I was like, that's what you need. And a lot of realtors don't really go to the right place because they think, I'm going to go this place because it's a friend of a friend that told me to go there. But it may not be the best fit for them.
Right.
And, everybody offers something different. And when she said, everything that you were doing, a lot of brokers don't do a lot of that stuff. And it kind of was like eye-opening where like, all right, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's wonderful, and she's one of the hardest working people, and she's in charge and found her own success. I mean, but yeah, like, we were a great fit, and I was able to kind of nudge her along and what she needed to do. But like, I even have like an incredible example of like another agent from another brokerage called me about a month ago and said, I have a cousin that got his real estate license, and I think you'd be a better fit than actually where I am. And he goes, I love where I am. I'll never leave. I'm not coming to you, but Frankie should be with you,
Right.
And Frankie's a great guy. He got his first listing his first week, which is exciting.
That's awesome.
It just, he knew like we would gel, and that the way I saw the world was the way, the way Frankie saw the world. So, these things are important, that you find the right fit.
So before you got, dial back for a minute, before you got, started becoming a broker and doing all that, were you involved in real estate? Like, were you a realtor prior? Or, what was your background, I guess, before, brokerage as of now?
Yeah, so I was an iron worker.
Okay.
I was one of those guys that, I'm sure everyone's seen the picture of a guy sitting on a beam over Rockefeller Center and, eating lunch. That was the career I had.
Okay. How long were you doing that for?
I was in that business 5 years.
Okay.
and I loved it. It was the greatest job I've ever had. There was a brotherhood. There was something special every day. I could go to a job site and create something that was just dirt, and then it was a building.
Right.
And I left the structure. Now I can drive by and say, I built that.
Right.
You know? And it was a really exciting, wonderful job. And then I kind of got knocked out of it when I was working on City Field.
Okay.
And I was walking across a beam, and there was some stuff in the way. And, I'll give you the short version. I fell. I broke my ankle, my leg, and my back.
Jesus.
And they had to use a crane to lift me up, and I was on the pitcher's mound of City Field. So that was my last moment. That's right. I made it. I could have got drafted.
Yeah,
I got lifted. So that was the life-changing moment that led me to, years of surgery and actually, depression and like feeling like you have no value and going through,
You had to be out for quite some time, I would assume, right?
I was out. Yeah, I had several surgeries. I had to walk with a cane for over a year.
You would never tell now. I mean, you would never tell now that you had all those.
It's been a long road. Yeah. But I made sure that and this is the perspective that I have. I'm a relentless, all-in person,
right.
And I made a decision that I'm either going to break my body or fix my body. So
a lot of people give up, and they just say,
give up,
and that's it.
There was a lot of pain. There was a lot of, there was just a lot to get to the point where like I really feel good and I move well, and I have things that are going on, but it's just night and day from where I was.
Of course.
But I had to essentially reinvent myself, and what triggered me getting into real estate was I got hurt in 2008, and it was the same time as the financial crisis. So I had nothing to do but go to rehab, have surgeries, and figure out like what was going on with the world. And so like I'm not a college educated person, but I had time to kind of teach myself. So I started like reading the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times. I ordered Intro to Economics.
Okay.
I started taking, back then they had not podcasts, they had like iTunes had, Yale would upload their university studies onto iTunes, and so would Harvard.
You could listen to it.
So I took Harvard level economics classes. I really just got into that study. So, so that it drew me in that time towards it with everything that happened. So like when I finally was well enough to do stuff, and I had a plan to get into the housing market. So I started investing in real estate early on. I flew to Detroit. I invested in a bunch of housing in Detroit.
So you started really investing before you really got into the whole actual brokerage and selling of the real estate, basically.
Yeah, I tried being and some success, some failures, and that's the fun of this life.
Yeah.
Is investing in rental real estate. I bought distressed properties, fixed them up, and rented them, and then sometimes bought distressed properties, fixed them up, rented them, and sold them to investors on like LoopNet and
Gotcha.
And
what made you go to Detroit? For your first time, I mean, to be like, I'm not going to New York.
I thought I was a genius, right? I spent all this time sitting around reading these economics books, and I followed the Case-Shiller Index, and I noticed that all of the trend lines from the run up to the top of the bubble, like say New York, Phoenix, and all these major cities, had the same equidistant top end that they did the bottom end. So like you have the 100-year average, then which houses inflate with the rate of inflation or slightly more depending on the region, over a course of 100 years. Then over the course of the bubble period, it went up 10, 8, 10, 12%. But when it popped, the trend line below the 100-year average hit the same number. So if it went up 12% in Arizona, it went down 12% in Arizona. Every city but Detroit. Because they got hit twice. They got hit with not only the financial crisis, they got hit with the car crisis as well. So I thought maybe a double rebound.
Right.
So I flew to Detroit. I immersed myself in that place. It's an incredible place. And I invested there, and I had some wins, had some losses, but I learned a lot.
Do you still have stuff?
I do. I had as many as 32 houses in Detroit.
All single-family homes?
All single-family homes, and I was a part of a larger apartment building.
Okay.
There. and now I have 8.
Okay.
And what triggered me to stop investing throughout, or trying to invest throughout the state, because I thought I was going to be a guy who owned something in every state. Like, that was my goal, just to like plant a flag in every state.
Gotcha.
I had my daughter and then my son, and I didn't want to leave anymore. I didn't want to get my car and drive 16 hours to a place and try to struggle and make deals. So I thought maybe I'll try something local. I got my real estate license. I walked into a real estate company, ReMax Integrity Leaders, and 2 others, but really felt compelled and brought and inspired by the broker that was there, Rita. And I said, I'm going to give this a shot. I thought I was only give it a shot to be an investor, and then the month after, they had the award ceremony.
Okay.
And at that award ceremony, they give away first place, second place, third place. I got no place. And even though I didn't deserve anything, I'd never even started yet.
But it hit you.
It hit me like, I want to be up there. Yeah. And I said, you know what? The inner
competition. Yeah,
me
100%.
said, I'm just gonna give this everything.
Right.
And I did. I spent 80 hours a week trying everything that could work, trying everything that does work, and found the one thing that worked for me.
Right.
And then I quadrupled down on it. And my first year, I sold 7 houses. My second year, I sold 47 houses.
That's quite the jump.
It's quite, yeah. And I feel blessed and excited, and I didn't know that was coming like that.
Right.
And then by the end of the second year, I took over that office, and I became the broker.
Were you still selling while you were you I guess what they call, competing broker?
I was a competing broker, and I think that is a misleading thing, because here's what I like to say to people. And if they say to me, well, are you a competing broker? I said, yeah, whether you're there or whether you're here,
yeah,
I'm going to be competing against you, but there's no true competition.
Right.
There's, especially the way I do business and the way I teach it, it's about your connections with the community.
Right. I think that was more kind of, maybe I'm wrong, but in my opinion, that's more kind of, people used to think, people walking off the street, I want to sell my house. Right. And if you're the broker that also, are active, selling or whatever the case may be, then your secretary's just going to take down their info. They're going to say, okay, here you go, Pete, and you're going to give them a call, and it's never going to get passed down to the next person.
Yeah.
But that doesn't exist anymore.
Nobody, I own 3 brokerages. 2 of them sell quite a bit of real estate, and I'd say we get 2 or 3 walk-ins a year.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
If we're lucky. So yeah, that is not the world we're in, and I wouldn't want those people if if it existed. The world is out there, outside the office. The real estate brokerage should be there as a place to learn, a place to build content,
right?
So that you're getting yourself out there. But again, it's always about out there.
100%.
The days of sitting and waiting for something to happen to you are the days of sitting and waiting to die.
Yeah, and I feel like that's more like, not maybe the right thing to say, but, it's the dinosaurs of real estate. They're, all the older generation, they come into the office, they sit at their desk all day, they look at God knows what on the computer, and, they just wait for their phone to ring, and if my phone rings that day, and maybe it's a client, maybe it's a client.
And it's still ringing, and they're not coming in.
Right.
The people aren't coming in, you know? So, yeah, I think, I think there are plenty of older agents that have adapted.
Yeah.
But the ones that don't,
they're just getting swallowed up by all the newcomers. And a lot of them, I feel that I'm seeing, it's like, oh, you're doing 50 houses a year, you've been in the business for 2 years, or all these new guys that are on social media. It's such a huge advantage, to be on social media.
Yeah.
The people that, are successful or were successful when they were, younger, and now they're older and they don't adapt with the times, and they're like, why are all these younger guys getting the business and I'm not? But they don't want to change, or they don't want to even hire anybody to help them change.
I used to say, 5 years ago, I said, you should be doing social media to grow your business. Now I say you should be doing social media to survive.
Yeah.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Couldn't agree more.
You have to be, and it's such a unique and easy tool where you can be yourself.
Yeah.
Show the world who you are at scale for $0.
Right.
And attract the people that are most likely to get along with you and enjoy you.
Yeah.
So that even when you meet with them that sit down for the listing appointment or the buyer's appointment, it's good.
Right. They almost feel like they know you already. They saw you. They see your post, then they see, you know, oh, you're out doing this. You know, you're out with your, you know, your wife. You're at dinner. They see, oh, they listen to your podcast. They feel like they almost know you before they even meet you.
Right. And your personality fits their personality. They already see it, and it's done. Right. So like we're opposed to like if you're sending mailers out or you're getting, you know, and you sit down on the appointment, you don't. That's a unwarm situation where you don't know you're still going to take that deal.
It's a first date drink.
It's a first date drink. It might not work out, you know. So it's so much warmer and so much easier. And again, you know, it's free. Yeah. And it's freeing because you get to just be yourself. And like I can tell you how many times like I've had hard times or like had thoughts that like I kind of like it's almost like a confession to the world. Like, hey, let me tell you about a lesson I've learned. Let me tell you about what, you know, what's happened to me and what I've gotten from it. Yeah. And I've been lucky enough to feel better because I've said those things, but also had people reach out to me and go, you told that story and it did this for me.
Yeah, I feel like every time I had a guest on the podcast, I learned one thing from it, you know, and it just, you use that in now your own business in your day to day. Yeah. And I feel like that's almost like the main thing of, you know, the podcast. I could care less if not a single person listens to it. Right. It's just hearing another person's side of what they do for their business and then try to implement the things that I like into mine. Yeah. And vice versa. I'm sure, you know, people that come on, they hear something like, oh, maybe I can do that. You
and
know?
there's no journey that's not interesting. There's no, whether you're and I envy, and I tell this to my new agents and I beg them. I say, you know, I beg. I'm a beggar. To put yourself out there because this is the most compelling time where like, I'm just starting in real estate. I don't know if I'm scared. I don't know if I'm going to make it. Right. You know, but I'm going to do everything I can. Please follow me on this journey. And I'm going to be going to inspections. I'm going to tell you what it's, you know, what I'm learning. I'm going to tell, and people will root for you and people will share you and people will connect with you if you're being yourself and being open enough to go, I'm scared. Right. I don't know if I'm going to make it. I wish I could redo that and say, I don't know if I'm going to make it. You know, I had to take my own lumps in social media and like just pretend like I was, you know, in it for 100 years. Where like I would go back and go, hey guys, I'm doing this. Right. Come with me. Yeah. You know.
Listen, you know, but not having the fear to fail and just go and do it. Yeah. I remember, you know, the reason why I started the podcast was really because of handsome homebuyer Charles. Mm-hmm. You know, we were talking and he's like, dude, just start a podcast. So I'm like, you know what? All right. Fuck it. Yeah. We're going to do a podcast. You know, so we started doing a podcast and, you know, now we're doing a couple houses together. And then I saw your podcast. I think it might have been with actually him. Mm-hmm. And one thing that you said, you're like, I wake up at 4 a.m. because I want to give 80 hours or 100 hours a week. So I know if I failed, it's not because I didn't put the time or the effort in.
The biggest fear I have in life is...
And that struck like huge.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. And that's something wonderful about social media is like you can bare yourself to the world. If you touch somebody or that affects somebody, it really means a lot to me. But yeah, I believe that. Like I don't care if I win or lose. I care about being able to look myself in the eye and say, I did everything I possibly could to win. Right. And that's what keeps me waking up early. That's what keeps me being here late. That's what keeps me thinking about what the next step is, because if I don't and I fail, I'm going to think about those moments that I didn't do that.
Yeah, and I'm the same way. Like I don't have like almost like a shut off button, unfortunately. Sometimes like it's like I need to answer that phone call or I need to go do this or so I just got a text message. I'm thinking about selling my house at 8:00 at night. I got to go to the computer and start running comps. Right. You know, so I always like to ask everybody that comes on that's in like the the same industry, how do you separate work from family time? You know, what have you done throughout the years or what do you do now where you realize, okay, eventually like I have to shut my phone off or I have to stop working because if I don't, my wife's leaving me.
Yeah, no, and those fights happen.
Yeah, like, we literally, me and my wife both have our own business, obviously. Mm-hmm. Well, not obviously, but we both have our own business. And we literally have our calendars synced up to where if we want to do something, we put a time slot in the calendar. Okay, we're having dinner, together. We're going to a restaurant Wednesday, 8 to 12, whatever the case may be. We book it out. Right. And that's kind of like what keeps us knowing like, all right, we'll have time for each other. Otherwise, sometimes I don't know when to stop. So
Right.
I always like to hear,
Right.
what do you do?
Yeah, I struggle with it. I do, because I'm so tunnel vision that is something that I'm constantly working on.
Yeah.
And constantly have guilt of. Like, and you get this double guilt situation where, like, you're not with your family,
Right.
and you feel guilty that you're not, giving them the emotional time, and then you're with your family and you're thinking, I should be helping my family grow with, by building my business.
Yeah, it's tough.
And it's one way or another, you're feeling this strain on it, and that's just the I think the natural entrepreneurial pain.
Yeah, and especially with kids. I mean, I don't have kids yet.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know you said you had 2 kids, right?
I have 2, but Stella and Peter, yeah.
I could only imagine, like, it's probably even harder with having kids.
Yeah.
Let alone just me and my wife.
Yeah, and my kids are my best friends. Like, my daughter, my logo and my how I brand myself is Pocket Pete.
I wanted to bring that up. So,
Okay,
now you brought it up. Where did Pocket Pete come from?
So I've always been. Well, let me step back a second. It started as an app. So Pocket Pete is an app. So you can download the Pocket Pete in the App Store, and it's for my clients. And basically, the idea was somebody came to me and said, "Pete, I want to create a app for you, and you can search on for houses, and you can do all this stuff." And I said, "No." I said, "I hate it. I'm not going to compete with Zillow. I'm not going to beat Zillow. This is not going to work."
Yeah, we're not beating these guys.
Right. And then I'm laying in bed that night, and I sat up. I go, "I got it." And I realized, that this could fit the person that I am, which is I've always been the guy that has the guy. So, like, if you need a plumber, this is before I was in real estate. No matter what, I was always been, Pete, who do you know?
Yeah, you always knew somebody.
If you need an undertaker, you're going to call Pete.
Gotcha.
Right? So what I created was this app that has all the people that I trust in it, their phone numbers. You can get directions right to their office, their websites. It's all right there, and it's categorized by different things. So this way, I'm always in your pocket. I'm Pocket
Hence
Pete.
Pocket Pete.
Right.
So that's really more for, like, your buyers.
That's
for
buyers
example,
and sellers, and then for the rest of their lives. So, like,
they have you in their pocket.
I'm always in their pocket. Pocket Pete.
Oh.
So the goal for me is just like, because I'm a referral person, I'm a relationship person.
Right.
I don't want them to ever leave me. Once you're in my life, you're not getting out.
Yeah, you're stuck.
So, right, you're stuck. So part of that is that when they think of, hey, who do I know that's gonna, who do I know that's a good electrician? Oh, let me go in the Pocket Pete app. Now they're thinking about me, even when they're thinking about electricians.
Right.
Right. You can't forget Pete. Right. You can't forget the Pocket
So
Pete.
who knows? 10 years down the line, they want to sell. Oh,
right. They're
Pocket
still
Pete.
going to the pocket. I have people call me and they'll say, like, Pete, I'm looking in your app for this. Do you have somebody? So,
Right.
like, they're in it. They're,
Yeah.
I'm holding on to them in that way, and
it's almost like a CRM, but not
reversed.
But reversed. Yeah, you're not sending
Right.
them a drip campaign.
Yeah, I'm not staying
It's like,
in touch with them. They're staying in touch with me
Exactly.
because
That's
I'm in
awesome.
their pocket. I'm
And-
pocket. It's my Angie's
It's his
list.
Angie's
right.
list, exactly.
Yeah. And those are, and I refuse to put anyone in there that I haven't shaken their hand, I haven't done business with them, that my name
Right.
isn't,
Because you're
on
referring
there.
them now, so
Yeah.
you figure,
Yeah.
you're responsible.
Right. People have offered me money to get in there. People have
Businesses or...
because I have a wide connection, but the only people that go in there are people that I've seen what they do. They've worked on my house, or they've done things with me that I know they're doing good work because
Right.
it's my name.
Yeah.
So those are all. Everyone in the app are people I can yell at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. But no, that's awesome. So, I mean, that's a great idea. I mean, I don't know, how it all came together, but it's great.
It was a lot of work, designing it and then filling it and make it look like it was like early on. You gotta like just input everybody, and
Right.
but it worked out to be a great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So now, obviously, you just opened up another 1 or 2 brokerages. No, well, you have 3 now total,
I
right?
have 3 total locations, 2 major ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you still actively, listing and buying, working clients, or are you
I
more focused
am.
on the actual business now?
I'm focused on the brokerage, but I am helping people buy and sell. I have a team to help me with work
Right.
with buyers, and I am listing houses. But what it's all by referral. My whole life is referral. So like I never solicit people to help to
Right.
buy or sell. It just I've luckily created this advocacy and this magnet of of business. And
you've been doing real estate for what, 12 years now, or 11
5.
years? 5 years?
This is my 5th year.
5 years.
Yeah.
Oh, I would have thought a lot longer.
Well, yeah, thank you. Well, I've packed 20 years of activity in that 5 years. But yeah, so yeah, I started in 2016. Yeah, and wow, started in 2016.
Crazy, yeah.
And
so I guess for like the newer agents, from when they hear you went from 7 houses to 50 houses, in 2 years, like I'm almost not in the I'm kind of I guess in a similar scale. Like we went from 12 houses and then we did like 40 something this year, or whatever. So it's 2.5 years in.
Yeah.
But what for the new agents, coming now from a broker, not another agent,
right?
What do you see to help push you to that level? What got you really from 7 houses to 40 the next year? Like, what's like your go-to prospecting?
Well, for me, and I like to say this, like, first thing you have to do is you have to realize all the different ways you can earn money in real estate. Try them all and pick the one that you're comfortable doing for 30 years. Because not everyone's comfortable doing the way I do things for the next 30 years, and I don't care if it makes you $1 million.
Right. If you're not comfortable, you're not comfortable.
Yeah, I can do this for the rest of my life. The way I do business. So what I do is I'm a relationship person. I'm a mayor. I connect with the community. I have events. I do obviously the social media stuff. We do charity things, and I do good. And as you do good comes back.
Yeah, you do the right thing, and people see that, and then, they want to work with you.
Right. And I connect with businesses to bring my people to the businesses.
Right.
So like I have a referral system that creates relationships between businesses and my clients, so that they're constantly connected. I'm creating this dual advocacy. So the businesses are excited because I'm connecting them to the people, and the people are excited because they're getting this stuff, and the process of being under contract is less stressful and less boring.
Yeah.
And with that, I'm creating all these advocates that wouldn't let anyone else buy or sell a house if they're friends or family. They say you have to use Pete.
Right.
And that,
you're the first person that comes out of their mouth, and they're like,
and they'll fight. They'll put on brass knuckles
to fight for you,
and they'll fight to the death to make sure I sell their aunt's house. So that's the goal. That's how I live, and I try to teach that as much as I can. And the other thing that worked for me is you need to make as many mistakes as possible. Early on, your job is to screw up.
Yeah, you're learning.
Yeah, so you need to have as many interactions as possible. So like, I bought Zillow leads, I bought realtor.com leads, and people knock them. And you can door knock. You can do what you can beg people to just let me show you. I know you're on the market. Let me just show you houses so I can screw it up.
Yeah.
Whatever you can do to try everything and practice. So like, I had as many interactions about real estate as I could, made as many mistakes as I could, and did the most important thing anybody can do in any business is, whenever something went wrong, and even and also when things went right, I always said, what could I have done to make it better? How could I have changed it? What words could I have used to express the idea I was trying to express better?
Right.
And I tweaked, and I tweaked, and I tweaked. So with every interaction, I asked myself that question. Even when it went terrific.
Right. There's always something you can make it a little bit better.
What could I have done? And when it went terrible, it was wonderful, because like 6 things went wrong, and there was like 6 things I can fix.
Right.
And 6 things I can make better. So I got like 5 years of interactions in a year. That was my goal, was to just pound the pavement, get in front of people, take those phone calls. I didn't care whether I was going to win or lose. I wanted to screw up.
Right.
And I think the biggest fear people have is they think, I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to screw up. And like, that's the exact opposite thing you have to feel.
They're trying to be perfect before they even know what anything is.
Right. Who the hell do you think you are to think you're going to be good day one? And that's when people feel like, oh, I'm embarrassed and I'm not good. Good. Don't be good. Be terrible as much as you can.
And learn from it.
Yeah, and learn from it. So that's the perspective I beg people to have.
So
I'm begging again. Can't stop begging.
Your one go-to that you would tell a new agent, totally green, no money for advertising, they can't buy leads, they're looking to get started, get themselves off the ground, get their name out there, get a couple of deals. What's the one thing that you would tell them that they should be doing right now?
Social media. I mean, first they need to find all the people that know them, like them, would want to do business with them.
Right.
That
Your
would
personal
advocate for
sphere is always number one.
Start with your personal sphere, reach out to them, let them know. First of all, never ask for business. Always advocate for others. You give, it comes back. Just so you know, I'm now a realtor at ReMax Integrity Leaders. You now have someone you trust from a great brokerage.
Right.
And then, so you're going to get to all those people and let them know. Then you're going to go on social media and start documenting your journey. And you're going to be open and honest and scared. And you're going to let them know, here's what I'm trying to do. Here are the steps I'm taking. And don't be afraid to give stuff away, to say, hey, I'm new. I'm going to be working with my broker. He's going to guide me through this whole process. But if you work with me, here's what I'll do for you. Because I think one of the things people don't realize is that you're in a market. You have a certain amount of value, and that certain amount of value is in the market with other people that have different value.
Right.
So if you're brand new, the greatest value you have is time.
Right.
You're my only client. I'm not screwing this up. I'm going to give everything I possibly can.
I heard this
to
from somebody.
this.
I forgot where I heard that. They're like, listen, you may be my first listing. You're also my only listing.
Right.
I'm going to give you 100% of time because that's all I have, and
Right.
you're my only client. So I'm going to do whatever it takes. Your listing is my baby.
Yeah.
I don't have 30 other listings that I have to run around for.
Right.
You're my only
sleep
client.
on your lawn.
Yeah.
I'll put a tent right there on your lawn. I am not letting this go. We are selling this thing.
100%.
So you have to sell like the pros of
Being only
of
a newer
being
agent.
new, and and that you have direct access to your broker who's this is how wonderful he is, and
Right.
And so you sell that, and you sell how much energy they're going to be getting, and what it's going to mean for you too. Like, so just so you know, I'm going to be giving you everything. Let me tell you why I'm giving you everything.
Right.
This is a picture of my wife.
Yeah, because it almost feels like
you're the launching pad of a new career, and thank you very much, Mr. Smith. Because I appreciate this so much, and I'm never going to forget this.
right.
But also, like, you got to remember, you're not that valuable. You're building value. So like, I'm worth a lot more now
Than you were from.
than I was day one.
Right.
I can ask for a lot more. I can ask for a higher commission.
Right.
But
it's because you're worth it, and you can
I'm
show
worth
it
it.
what you do for
Yeah,
that.
and I can explain to you exactly why I'm better. I could crush day one Pocket Pete.
Right.
Right? Verbally can crush, explain.
Yeah.
I do a much better job. So why would day one Pocket Pete charge the same as
Right.
as 5 year down the road Pocket Pete?
Right.
So
It's invaluable. I mean, what?
Right.
Yeah.
So understand that and be afraid. Like, you should be doing this career. Year one is a year to learn, the rest of your life to earn. You shouldn't even think about making $1. You should be buy lots of peanut butter. And,
a lot of PB&J.
Yeah, and just be prepared to live off peanut butter and figure out what you can do to give stuff away, to give value away. So if you're worth less, don't ask for more.
Right.
Give it or do something where you're doing everything you can to be in that fight.
100%.
Yeah. And then the good will come later on. I know it's hard to think about it this way, but you can't think.
Well,
about
people
the
see it
money.
on TV, and they say, "I get my real estate license, my phone starts ringing right away. I'm going to make $1 million my first year."
Right.
And it's
Right.
not. That's why what?
Yeah.
What is it, like 80% of realtors fail in like their first year or something, whatever the number is?
They don't realize they're starting a business, and they don't realize even if you tell them that, they don't know what it means to have a business.
Right.
What it means to have a business is spending a year eating peanut butter.
Yeah.
That's something I do my best to get across. I got a call today at someone that wanted to join, and I gave the whole spiel about what it means to be a real estate agent, and they're not going to be a real estate agent. And I'm thankful that they're not joining me. They're not joining anybody, because they saved themselves 6 months of going into something
Right.
that isn't quite right for them.
Yeah.
And I want my job, and my hope for my life is to like be able to nudge people in the right direction. And sometimes that's away from me or away from the business.
Right.
And sometimes it's towards me and towards the business. Mm-hmm. So that conversation, I gave her a true perspective about what it is, and it quite honestly wasn't right for her. And she felt that way, and I agreed.
Right. So, how many agents do you guys? We
have 53.
53 agents total.
Total, yeah.
Okay. So you guys more technically, is that considered on the smaller side of a brokerage? Is it the larger side?
In ReMax, they call this mid-size.
Mid-size.
Yeah. So I just took over Smithtown. That had 13 agents. We have 38 in my office in Center Reach.
Okay.
And we have 3 in Melville.
So you guys do it. I mean, so those agents are really doing a decent amount of numbers because you said you were doing how many hundreds of houses for the year.
Yeah, we'll
so
sell.
They do some volume.
Yeah, we sell a lot of houses. And that's, I'm thankful we have high producing people, and we have incredible people there. And that's ReMax is built. We welcome newer agents, but it's built for experienced producing agents.
Right.
And part of my model is to turn new agents into
top performing agents.
Top performing agents. But traditionally, ReMax was built to suck in high performing agents from other
Gotcha.
brokerages. That was the original business.
And that's because
in
of
the
the
70s.
splits that they give, etc.
Right.
They try to say, listen,
Right.
you're developed now. You know what you're doing. You don't
Right.
need all the little bells and whistles. You know what works for you.
Yeah,
Come
it's
work
your
for
business,
us.
go do it. Which I have that philosophy. It is your business.
Right.
As long as you're doing it legally, you do it how you do it. My job is to give you the technical tools, to give you all the cool toys that we
Right.
have,
Yeah.
and give you a space that you can create magic and nudge you and teach you how to grow a business. It's your business.
Right.
Create it.
Yeah.
Make it yours. Be your own brand. And one of the number one things we work on is, who are you? What is your brand? I'm Pocket Pete. Who are you?
Right.
Yeah,
you got to start building that.
Right.
You're that brand. You're building
we
a brand.
have Chef Bello serving up Long Island real estate. We try to connect the people that they are and help amplify that. So we find what their best characteristics are
and try to help them build a brand.
Try to
create a brand.
Yeah, because that's branding is
everything.
Everything.
Yeah,
it's everything. I've said Pocket Pete 65 times already. Right?
Yeah,
that's not.
That's most people probably know you as Pocket Pete compared to.
There are people that don't know my name, even though it's in the name of Pocket Pete. Like even on my block where I live, my wife told me that someone said, "Hey, you're going to the party Pete's going." And they're like, "Who's Pete?" And they go, "Pocket Pete." Oh, Pocket Pete.
Yeah.
So they don't know my name is Pete.
Right.
But they know who Pocket Pete is.
Right.
And that's how I know I successfully branded myself.
Yeah.
Is that they don't need to know who
they don't know who the hell is this guy. They just Pocket Pete and they're like, got it.
Exactly.
So I always like to ask another question. With this market, obviously it's bananas. It's absolutely chaos out there.
Yeah.
I mean, offers are going $50,000 over asking and you're not getting accepted. And I mean, I know you're in the investment field as well. What are you seeing out in, I know you guys are more east.
Yeah.
What are you guys seeing with the market? Do you think this is going to prolong? Like, what do you see over the next year of real estate? Do you think after this election things are going to slow down? Do you think it's going to become more steady seller's market, buyer's market?
I think there's going to be a two-part market. I don't think the election is going to change much. I think
regardless of who wins.
Yeah, I think we put too much stock into our leaders. We're in a wonderful capitalistic system that runs on itself, and then they nudge us in the right or wrong direction slightly. But we are America, and we will not be stopped, no matter who's there.
Exactly.
But I think there's definitely going to be a shift. There has to be a breaking point with the demand of buyers coming out here from the city.
Like, it has to slow down eventually.
It has to. But there's also a demographic shift that doesn't look like it's changing, which is the baby boomers are their knees hurt. They don't want to climb stairs anymore. They're downsizing in mass,
right?
And buying the first-time homebuyer houses at the same time the first-time homebuyers are squeezing in.
Yeah, and then all the houses that would be selling for the family that's taking that step to the next upgrading of the home,
right?
With COVID and everything, like they're scared to buy.
Yeah,
they're scared to put their house on the market because they don't have now. Maybe their wife lost their job. They don't qualify now for the larger home. So do you think that's gonna really affect everything, or do you think it's going to start? Listings are going to start coming out more.
I think that they're going to come out more, just based on the idea that the prices are so high.
Yeah,
and I think that's going to, I hear it all the time. Maybe I should sell. I was going to sell next year, but maybe I'll sell now.
Right.
I think if this continues, that'll happen. But I think over the course of the next 5 or 10 years, I'm still betting on the first-time home buyer market being hot for a long time, and the bigger houses
sitting a little bit,
starting to cool off and sitting.
Yeah, I always say, like, anything that's under I don't know, maybe 600,000, maybe that 550 price point
Yeah.
and less. I mean, they're just flying off the shelf,
In
and
a
they're going to
second.
fly off the shelf for quite some time, I think.
Right. Yeah, I don't think that's going to change unless we adjust our prices. And like I can see ranches going, like they're starting to get to the point where like it's like the intro houses are starting to meet the more expensive houses.
It's crazy.
Like it's almost like why haven't why not get the more expensive
Right.
house?
You might as well just skip that, almost skip that step.
But I don't see that changing anytime soon.
So you give it 2 years, a year, 3 years?
Look,
what are you thinking?
I've learned a long time ago, not to predict, but
Right.
I'll give a.
If you have to throw a number, obviously
say-
everybody knows that, you have those
Yeah.
waves. It's always
I'd
a
say-
high, a
yeah.
low, a high.
Yeah, I'd say 2 years before another unforeseen thing.
Right, happens.
It
Yeah.
changes the trajectory, and we all pretend like we knew it was coming.
Right. Yeah, everyone asks me, my goal, I say year and a half, 2 years, I don't think anything's changing. I think
Yeah.
interest rates are staying low.
Yeah.
I think that's going to help buyers because they can now qualify for more because, the rates are low. As long as I think the houses keep coming to the market and hopefully they start coming a little bit, in bigger batches where more houses are coming to the market, I think it's going to be like this for quite some time.
But I think the reality is, like, we say these things in the industry, like, rates have never been this low. And really, all we're doing is we're poking the world to come to us, which is great. And
Right.
we want them to come to us.
Of course.
But people are going to do things based on their life. They just made enough money to buy a house. They're buying that damn house.
Right.
I don't care if this is the exact time or not. If their grandchildren are in North Carolina and they miss them, they're not gonna say I'm gonna wait till next year. So like it's really about like connecting with the people, understanding that, and saying, what are your problems? How
Right.
can I solve them?
Yeah.
I'm here to solve your problems, and you're gonna tell them to me. Everything's gonna be okay. And I think that perspective is more important than where is it going, because no matter where it goes, we're gonna be needed.
Right.
So
Well, that, brings up, we'll get into it for a quick second.
yeah.
People always say, "Oh, do you see Zillow? They're hiring agents, or they're going to start a brokerage." Are you worried about you're going to lose your job? Like, are realtors going to be obsolete in 5 years from now when Zillow takes over? And my thing is, I don't think we're ever going anywhere. The good ones, I don't think are going anywhere. Maybe they get taken over by like the people that really don't follow up, or they're really not giving them 100% what they should be giving.
Yeah.
But I don't think Zillow's ever taking over a realtor.
Zillow can bring it.
Yeah.
I have no fear about the type of service and the type of connection I have with the people around me and how important they're to me and I'm to them.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I work for Exit, you work for you own ReMax, this person works for EXP, this person works for Century 21.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think the client really buys you. They're buying you. You're selling yourself. They don't care what name is on the for sale sign.
Yeah.
I really think that it's what you're going to, what you're bringing.
all the time. People say to me, and when there are people that I think you would be a wonderful real estate person, and they'll say, well, I never thought of myself as a salesperson. And I'll say, you're not selling. The thing you're selling is that you're the right person to guide them through this part of their life.
Right.
And that's the most important thing is you're a guide and a problem solver.
Yeah.
And if you think about it more like that, you'll realize and you'll act accordingly.
Right.
There's too many people that think they're in the sales business. They're not.
Right.
They're not. The only thing you're selling
You're
is
in the people business.
Yeah, you're in the people business.
That's what we do.
I sell me.
Right.
I
Selling
sell-
the house is easy.
Yeah. Yeah. I know the process. I know how to do it. But more importantly, I care about you and your problems. I want to hear them. Let's sit down. Let's have a donut. Let's have some coffee. And you're going to tell me why you're selling your house and moving to North Carolina.
Right.
And then we're going to discover all the problems that are going to come up along the way, and I'm going to solve them.
Right. That's what we get paid for.
Yeah.
That's really.
Yeah.
Anybody could put a for sale sign on the house. You price it right, especially in this market, it's going to sell.
Yeah.
But the whole process of what's going on,
Yeah.
the behind the scenes stuff is really the value that we bring.
Yeah. Give me problems. Give me stress. I can't wait for it. And I always say, and I had a conversation with this happened to me. This never happened to me before. And this was such a flattering thing. I had a client call me and go, Pete, I was looking over your contract and how much we're paying you, and we're not paying you enough.
Music to your ears.
And she goes, do you mind if we double your commission? And I allowed it.
You.
But like what she said to me, she goes, we gave you all these problems. We can't believe you're sticking with us. And I can't believe, and
Right.
what you've done for us is so, wonderful. And honestly, it really wasn't much bigger problems than we have in a lot of deals. A couple of like
everything's
sticking
always,
points,
right.
but what I expressed to her and I expressed to everyone is, no one knows my value unless there's problems.
Yeah.
You don't realize too many agents hope for a zero problem deal.
Right.
I'm getting 0 referrals out of a 0 problem deal.
Right.
You give me the problems, I solve them, I'm your hero, and now your aunt and uncle are hearing about it.
100%. Yeah.
And,
That's so true. I never really thought about it that way, but
you gotta want problems.
Yeah.
They
got to see your value.
Yeah,
right. They need to see the value that you brought.
Other than what good are you if there's no problems?
Yeah.
Right.
100%. That's true. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
All right.
So
that might be a clip. Did you take note of that?
So I want to end it on this. You've been broker owner for,
this is 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
What's the 5-year plan for ReMax Integrity Leaders? What's your 5-year goal? Where's ReMax go? Where are you trying to take it? What's your 5-year goal? Where are you going for the next 5 years?
So we want to have over 100 agents, and we want to be the central hub, the central location for the next generation of how real estate is done. So we provide podcast studios. We have a 20-foot green screen. You can go and create content. We're going to have virtual education and back office websites that you can be on and constantly educate yourself. That's where the goal is to be the place where content is created, the place where we help you, teach you the systems that I talked about that build referrals,
right,
and create those easy connections. So within the next 5 years, we're getting into manufacturing and making it easier to hand things to people that they can say, here's my client, here's what we do, here's what you send out. And you just pick it up, you do it.
Right.
And we teach the system so that from the moment you join, you know what to do on social media, you know what to do when you're under contract to build that relationship, and you know what to do after. And it just becomes this cycle of growth.
Yeah.
And we'll have a central location for that education, for both the virtual and the physical, and where you can create content and make whatever videos and whatever you want. And then hopefully we have multiple locations where you can pop in and do whatever you need to do on the day to day.
Right.
That
makes sense. I mean, we spoke about this, before we started this when we were just bullshitting, but it's more, everything's becoming cloud based. Everything's adapting with COVID and everything, where you don't need that, huge, 5,000 square foot office anymore. You could have that one central hub that's a little bit smaller, where people want to come in and use the computers and, speak to you if they have questions and vice versa. But then make it where they could adapt and they could access all the training, anything, they need real estate wise, right at their fingertips online anywhere they want to go.
Yeah. And our goal is to mix the physical with the cloud so that you can come in and we can have a listing presentation. You can come in and pick up, we give the Matterport camera to our agents for free. So you can come in, you can reserve it and grab a Matterport camera and create a 3D tour and sell that, and we can have these powwows and this connection. Real estate can be a lonely business.
Right.
The other important thing is having friendships and connections and people helping each other. So we have agents that they don't need to help other agents, but they do. They teach classes, and I'll put them in a podcast studio. I've one agent, Keith. He's an amazing guy, and he does the stuff I can't do. He does door knocking. He gets expireds. He gets FSBOs. I've knocked on one door and I almost got in a fist fight. I can't teach that.
Right.
He out of the goodness of his heart, he sat down in the podcast studio and taught a brand new agent how to get expireds, and we recorded it, and now it's in our ReMax app to always go in and watch. And we have all these people that are good at things that I'm not good at.
Right. Everyone has their specialty per se.
Right.
Yeah.
And we can leverage, help teach, and document and have it there. So
that's awesome.
That's really important, is having that, the inter-agent connection and friendships too. So the social aspect is key.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So if anybody, likes what they hear, they want to reach out to you. Obviously, we talked about the Pocket Pete app. What's the best way to get a hold of you?
You can find me on social media, Peter Grosso. You can call me at 631-320-8848. Call me, text me. And then just friend me on social media, and if and just let's connect. If you have any questions, I'm always here to give my perspective.
I appreciate it. I mean, I think I mean, I learned a couple things. I hope, other realtors even thinking about getting in the business or already are in the business, learned a couple things. But I appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate you.
Again, if you're in the Nassau County area and you're looking to buy or sell your home, give me a call, 516-732-6398. Again, Josh Handler with Team Handler over at Exit Realty Premier. Thanks for coming aboard.
Appreciate it.